Hello, SWCA. Sorry I can't make it. My name is Sean Apostle, and I'd like to thank the members of the panel for allowing me to present to you digitally today. What I'd like to do in this short video is explain to you a little bit about a learning space here. I'm actually in the space in my office called the Fishbowl. It's a multimedia center for collaboration and learning. We launched it in the summer of 2014. I'd like to tell you a little bit about where we came from, how we designed the space and what we thought about as we designed it, and then how we're moving forward in this space. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's start with an overview of where I am. I'm at Bellarmine University. It's an independent Catholic university, about 4,000 students located in Louisville, Kentucky. I began working here in 2013 as the instructional technology specialist, and I taught in the School of Communication. About 2 years ago, I rolled into a assistant professor position here, where now I teach basically full-time, but I get a course release to continue training faculty members with our LMS. We use Moodle, and to look into new technologies as they become available for our classrooms. You see here a picture of the Knoll studio. I don't know if Rusty's presented yet. Before I was at Bellarmine, I worked there under Rusty as the communication consultant, and what a great spot. It was huge and so much going on. My interest, though, in learning spaces really began before then, back in 2004, when I took a class with Kathleen Yancey at Clemson University. She was launching a studio there, and I worked as a consultant for her. And when I was there, I learned more about the CCLI at Michigan Tech. So when I finished my master's, I applied to Michigan Tech, got to work with Dickie Self, and see this really dynamic learning environment in action. Of course, from then I went to EKU, and now I'm here at Bellarmine. And when I first got here, they started talking about this fishbowl that they were planning, and it really got me excited. Let me tell you about where it began and where we went from there. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is room 203. This was the room we had to figure out what to do with. You'll notice it's basically two different rooms. There's a lecture hall and there's a broadcasting lab. The lecture hall was very deep and very wide. It was kind of a difficult room to teach in. It was very easy for students to sit in the back and kind of tune out. The broadcasting lab was very well used by the broadcasting majors and by classes that teach broadcasting, but it was very hidden. Nobody knew it was there. The trophy case blocked the view of the classroom from the outside, from the hall where people were walking through. And so this was what we began with. And this is something that you might want to think about in your universities. Think about the rooms that nobody wants to teach in. Think about the ignored spaces or the underutilized spaces. If you can, find something like that, and that might be a good place to begin thinking about a lab such as this one. This is what we ended up with. This is the fishbowl. You'll notice that there is a few different areas now, but all those walls have been moved away. Even the outside wall where the trophy case was is now a glass wall. So people walking through can look right into the formal meeting area, the max, the casual meeting area, and even into the fishbowl classroom. The fishbowl classroom is a glass wall along into the lab so that people can see what's going on. There's a film that covers about eye level, but you can see that there's people moving in there, and you do feel some sense of interaction with the participants in there. The One Button Studio is also located here. It's a place to record video. It's open to students and faculty. All you need to do is push a button and bring a thumb drive. My office is right next to the One Button Studio. And then outside, you'll notice a few different areas. It's the casual meeting area, which is where some classes take place. There's a formal meeting area where the student-run newspaper and yearbook offices often meet and discuss topics. The Macs are used by different classes. The broadcasting lab is there, and I teach a digital media class in this room. And then there is also, you'll see the squares, which are long stand-up tables, kind of cafe style. You can stand or sit at these tables. A lot of students use them for collaboration and projects. They can hook up to the monitor that's located right next to it, or you could just watch TV and relax. It's really up to you. We allow students in the lab during class and out of class. There's no time when they can't be in this space. This is what it looks like. We have, again, you can see students at the Mac. You see the casual learning, casual meeting area behind me. You'll see a movable whiteboard. There I'm teaching a visual communication class. We were doing data visualization. And you'll see that students kind of move to different areas depending on what they're working on, what kind of project they're working on. You can have a really good learning environment, a really good space to provide feedback, but if students don't come in, it's really tricky to provide good feedback. So we have a few ways that we encourage using the space. One is classrooms. Can we get classes in here? Can we get classes to be taught in here? That is a great way of getting lab fees to help pay for new software and any new technology you might need. And it's also a great way to get students aware of the space. We also look at student groups and invite them in, maybe a government association or the yearbook or the newspaper. Can we get them to meet in our area? That's a great way to use this space as well. We have consultants that offer feedback on writing, but mainly oral and visual communication projects. We encourage projects from across the curriculum. So I have a student that comes in all the time who uses our green screen technology to make motivational videos for people who need to lose weight. And that's in health sciences. We encourage everybody to meet in here. I love serendipity, and I think that's great for education and it's great for your students. Another thing we try to do is have faculty training in here. I'll bring in a bunch of laptops, put the tables a certain way, and have Moodle training sessions in here. Or we have Microsoft on the OneDrive. We might use Microsoft One and give feedback and on those projects. So getting faculty in here as well is important. And then finally, open houses, meet and greets. A lot of times we would normally meet in the private dining area in the cafeteria. We're breaking away from that and having it more and more here in the Fishbowl because we could put student projects on the walls, have them projected, so we can encourage more collaboration, more serendipity in that process. The Fishbowl is still a relatively new space, so we can't really talk about the upgrades we've been doing, and I'm hoping that Rusty and Karen will address those issues because I know they've done a lot in their spaces. But what I can talk about are just the everyday things that we need to look out for. One is software updates. All our computers are going to need to be updated from time to time, and we really don't know when. The best way to test those is to have classes in there who are using it, and then you can watch your students use it and see if they do need to be updated. I'll notice the casual student walking in won't tell you if software needs to be updated. They'll just kind of move on to the next computer or pull out their phone and start working on their phone. So it's very important, I think, to kind of keep an eye on that and make sure that your software is being updated properly. The other thing is look out for underutilized technology. We have large monitors that show satellite television, and students can hook up their laptops to that, but I don't see them doing it very often. So we're looking at ways to, or maybe new technologies that will be, students will be more welcome to connect to those. What is it that they will connect to and how will they do that? Those are things we're looking at. Another thing is underutilized spaces. We have a audio mixing room that is being underutilized at the moment. We're looking at ways to facilitate more student action in that area. So we're thinking about 3D printers or other things that might be useful. So always consider that. What's being underutilized? What can be made a little bit more functional? But what's key is flexibility. Have furniture that moves. Have areas that you can change around to facilitate whatever group or whatever function you have in that space. There's really not much we can know about the future of technology. You know, cutting edge today is outdated in 2 or 3 years. But what we do know is that we need to be flexible for anything, get ready for anything. And having flexibility in your furniture is a really good way to prepare for that. Building a space like this is really only half the work. The real trick is maintaining it. One of the worst things you could do is spend a lot of money on the space and technology and then not use it. That is something that Christy and I have written about with e-waste reduction. Make sure your technology is going to be something that people use. So always keep that in mind. But with that being said, some of the tricks that we've done here that worked really well was to have my office located in the Fishbowl. I actually have a glass wall right in front of me, and I can look out into the Fishbowl and see what students are doing. I see someone working there. There's a meeting going on at the formal meeting area. So all these things are taking place right now. That's a great way to maintain the space, is just having a faculty member or a staff member who is just in there all the time. The next thing I think is really helpful is to have the classrooms in here with the student fees. That's a great way to have just a little bit of money to make sure that you get your software and your hardware updated. Part of maintaining too is to just keep awareness alive and to keep people who graduate or people who are coming through excited about the space. So having that glass wall where people can look in has been very beneficial to us. Tour guides constantly stop by and they all look into the room and see what's going on. People get excited about coming to Bellarmine, excited about utilizing the space. And I learned that at EKU. That was one place that I thought really did well. Rusty at the Knoll studio, as soon as we opened, tours were coming through. It became a draw. People were excited about coming to EKU because of that. And I see that here at Bellarmine. People are excited to work here because of this space, because this space is available to them. And then finally, having a space like this, make it open to donors. When donors are walking through, or senators, or whoever is in the area, this is a great place for them to walk through and see what students are doing, have student projects up. All those things will help you get the partnerships that you need to maintain your space and to keep it going, keep it strong. Well, I hope the examples that I've explained to you today from the Fishbowl and our experience here have been helpful. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I put my email on the slide, or reach me through Twitter. I'm also on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter. If you just Google me, you'll find me. There's not many shot apostles on the planet. Thank you for your time, and have a great conference.